Welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you here again today. My name is Ukomwaka and I like to call myself the rich son of a classroom teacher. And I also like to go with the title, The Small Business Doctor. Today, I'm going to talk about living according to your business reality or according to your economic reality. Now, I remember when I was just starting out in business, I had a lot of people who also started out in business during the same period that I started out in business. But most of them were not able to survive in business for up to a year. Some of them were able to survive up to a year, but couldn't make it to the second year. But here we are, years later, we are still doing business and we metamorphose from where we used to be to where we are now. And we are still going to where we want to be in the future. Now, what has helped me over the years more than any other thing is living according to my economic reality or according to my business reality. A lot of people are doing business today, but they are not being realistic. They are not living according to their own reality. When I started business, I understood that I did not have a lot of money with me to do a lot of fancy things. So I started small. Yes, there was a point in my life where I also had money being given to me by someone. So I experimented with doing a whole lot of crazy things. And it felt that is because I did not live according to my own economic reality. I did not live according to the reality of me doing business at that particular time. Whether you are just starting out or you've been doing business for a while or you've been doing business for years, you agree with me that one person's economic reality is different from your own economic reality. And then there is also a thin line between understanding this and being fake. Understanding your reality and being fake, there's just a thin line that exists between these two things. Most people do not understand where they are in business. Most people do not understand their economic realities. Now, I knew that when I was starting, I didn't have so much money, so I had to start from my room. I knew that when I was renting a shop, I didn't have money for all the POP, for all the fanciful things. So I did what I could because I understood where I was coming from and where I am going to. Now, remember, I always tell you, I am the rich son of a classroom teacher. And you understand with me that if you're in Nigeria, teachers are not very rich people. My parents are not rich people. So I didn't have rich uncles who were financing my business, who were financing my dreams, or who were maybe throwing money into my dreams and saying, hey, I want you to do this. Go ahead and do this. So today I sit in a beautiful office. I sit on a swivel chair and I can do this today because I have grown in the business. Now, years ago, I couldn't do this. I understood where I started from, so I was using the plastic chair. I used those plastic chairs for a while, and many people who patronized me during that period, they also saw that, yes, I wasn't ashamed to use my plastic chair, so they patronized it because I was still confident even when I was using my plastic chairs to do business. I understood that I couldn't pay for most of those multi-million business spaces. So I started from a small business space that I could afford. I also understood that if I failed in business because I had to purchase so many stupid things, that nobody was coming to save me. So I used my head. In Nigeria, we say use your head. I used my head very well. I was very careful with the decisions I made, especially when it comes to office equipment. I didn't go for fancy spaces. I didn't go for fancy office equipment, even though I have some now. Well, I may not be able to afford some of them at this point, but I'm still acquiring them. I can still buy some of them later in the future. Understanding your business reality will help you to stay away from a lot of problems and also to help you to stay away from debts. I've seen people who wanted to do business. They went about borrowing a whole lot of money to set up this whole fancy space, POP, lights, LED lights, put TV screens this way, put this one. And at the end of the day, they did not have what's used in running that business. They did not have what it takes or what they will need to run that business successfully because they did not live according to their economic reality. Living according to your economic reality or according to your business reality goes beyond just your business environment. It goes beyond just where you are doing your business. I remember I attended some parties where people were throwing money around. I knew that I couldn't do that. I knew that, well, you are throwing money. That doesn't mean I should. I have a friend that I had a friend then. I mean, we're still friends, but then we are not as close as we used to be then. He would take me to expensive places, buy Shewu that was always overpriced. And then he expected me to do the same. One day I told him, guy, I honestly cannot afford this lifestyle. I honestly cannot afford to be eating here. I mean, this is lunch. If you are buying a pot of Ishewu at, let's say, 15,000 naira, if I have the same 15,000 with me, I'll be thinking of what to cook at home to eat. And maybe I'll eat it two times or three times, or maybe even have some left over for the next day. I understood my economic reality. Now, when I was starting out in business, I also knew that I could not afford to be eating outside. So what did I do? I created that little time to make sure that every time before I go to work, I will cook. I wake up earlier than so many people. When people were sleeping, I knew that if I didn't do my fitness, I would feel bad about my day. I won't really feel energetic. So I had to be waking up most times by 4:30, most times by 3:30. I'll do my reading. I'll do all of those sorts because I understood where I was coming from and where I needed to be. Understanding your economic reality goes beyond trying to impress people. By the time you understand your economic reality, you will stop impressing people. Honestly, you will stop impressing people. Because at the end of the day, you impress people and then you go back home and you face the reality. I understood all of this. And my dad will always tell me, that man has played a crucial role in who I am today and in shaping the kind of businessman that I am. My mom too has also played a very significant role by helping me to manage my emotions while doing business. Now, I understood that I couldn't do most of these things, so I stuck with my own reality. Dangote's reality is not my reality. The reality of any of the toddlers is not my own reality. The reality of whosoever is out there is not my own reality. So I live according to my own reality. I do not impress anybody. I wear simple shirts, I wear simple shoes. I might even repeat my clothes for as many times as I want, as far as those clothes are not dirty. I don't buy most of the very expensive stuff. I live my life moderately. Not because I do not fancy expensive stuff, but because I know where I am. I know the points where I am at the moment. I know where I am heading to. And I know that if I start, okay, there is this adage that says, Pikin wey use agbada start to do swag. Go talk wetin go use when in don old. What that simply means is that if you start when you are small to do expensive things that you cannot afford, then it will get to a point where you actually need to do those expensive things, but you may not be able to do it again because you had wasted the resources that would have been used for that time. Understand your economic reality as a business person. If you need to start with one room, start with one room. I rented an apartment that I could pay for. I started with one room. Well, when I moved down to Uyo, before when I was staying at Makodi, I was living in a self-contained apartment, and that was very okay for me. I was comfortable. There was water, there was everything. But when I moved down to Uyo, I didn't have so much money to rent a self-contained apartment, so I started with a single room. Yes, I started with a single room. Then I upgraded. I got a 2-bedroom. I got a 2-room, and I got a 2-bedroom. And I moved gradually according to what my money can take. I can't remember a time in my life where I ever asked anybody to lend me money for rent. No, I don't do that. I can't ask someone to lend me money so I can pay my rent. I don't borrow to pay rents. So I will advise you, do not borrow to pay your shop rents. Do not borrow to pay rents, except borrowing to pay your shop rents might come with a clause. Except you are sure that you are not borrowing to invest in a lifestyle, to fund a lifestyle that you cannot afford. Do not rent a shop that you won't be able to renew the rent. Every business has a threshold or a limit that they can go. I see people renting multi-million naira spaces just to do haircuts. Well, I'm not a barber, so I will not understand how many people you need to cut to make up for the rent. But there are some businesses that you don't need so much to invest in the rent. So when you live according to your reality, you will stop doing most of these things. So If you're starting out, rent the space that you can afford, the space that you can comfortably pay for without having to look for help. Live in an apartment that you can comfortably renew without having to ask for help. Wear the clothes that you can comfortably afford without having to buy on credits. Eat where you can afford. No matter how expensive a city is, no matter how expensive a town is, there is always a place where people can eat affordably. If you cannot afford to eat in those places where people can eat affordably, then you can also afford to buy your own food and cook it at home. I believe that when you listen to most of these things, and if there's something that you were doing that were not in your own economic reality, then you go back and readjust to live according to your reality. There is only one life. You can only be you, and the other person will be him or her or whatsoever pronouns the person uses. Be you. Be original. Tell the truth to yourself. Be truthful to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. And when you tell yourself the truth, you'll be able to succeed in whatsoever you are doing. I am your brother in this trouble. My name is Ukobo Apan, and I am the rich son of a classroom teacher. I like to call myself the small business doctor. And talking about small businesses is what I love to do. And I passionately share my business ideas and my experiences in business with people. And today I am saying, go out there and live according to the economic reality. Don't allow anybody to pressure you into doing the things you do not want to do. And until I see you in the next video, do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this video to some friend. And I know that this video might help someone out there. There might be someone who is yet to see this video and who is just waiting to listen to this piece of advice to grow from the level he is or she is at this moment to the next level. Until I see you in the next level, and in the next video, God bless you and go ahead, live according to your economic reality. Bye-bye.